In the name of God. The diplomat's dilemma.
The dimly lit embassy buzzed with tension as three diplomats sat across from each other, the air thick with unease. Reynold Akera, known for his sharp rhetoric, leaned forward, his voice cutting through the silence. Your equivocation exacerbates tensions. We need exigent action, not esoteric jargon. His words carried weight, meant to discomfit his counterparts. Sebastian Ryan, ever the advocate for measured discourse, adjusted his tie before responding. Talking calmly, an erudite approach avoids war. Let's extol peace talks with a eulogy for the fallen. Stella Cruz sighed, weary of diplomatic doublespeak. Fine, but no euphemisms. And don't exculpate the aggressor. The room fell into a momentary silence, each diplomat weighing their next words carefully. Akira, impatient with the digression from the main issue, tapped his fingers against the polished wooden table. This is no time for rhetoric, the people are suffering, he said, his frustration barely concealed. Sebastian, ever the composed negotiator, countered, a hasty decision could defuse the crisis, but at what cost? Cruz watched them both, her discerning eyes noticing the tension rising. The discordant nature of their discussion made it clear they were far from a consensus. We cannot afford a discrepancy between our words and actions, she said firmly. The fate of thousands rested on their ability to communicate effectively. Akira exhaled, running a hand through his hair, feeling the weight of responsibility. We cannot let uncertainty discredit the diplomatic process, he stated. Sebastian nodded but chose his words carefully. Still, history warns us against impulsive decisions that later proved disastrous. Cruz crossed her arms, her skepticism evident. And history also warns us against inaction when action is due. Akira gave a knowing nod, acknowledging her point. Yet, it is diffidence in leadership that allows tyranny to flourish. Sebastian, feeling the gravity of the conversation, adjusted his posture. Then let us proceed with caution, but not fear. The door creaked open, and an aide entered, whispering something into Cruz's ear. She frowned, clearly discomfited by the message. It seems there's a new development, she announced, pushing a document toward the others. Akira picked it up, scanning the contents with a furrowed brow. A discrepancy in the ceasefire reports, he muttered. Sebastian took the paper, his discerning gaze scrutinizing every detail. If this is true, then we've been negotiating under false pretenses. Cruz's expression darkened. We may need to reconsider our approach entirely. Outside, a distant dirge played on the radio, a somber reminder of the lives already lost. The melody was discordant, filled with sorrow and despair. Akira found himself momentarily distracted, his thoughts drifting toward the war-torn streets beyond these walls. Cruz noticed and nudged him back to reality. We don't have the luxury of distraction, she said. Even music has its place in war, Sebastian murmured. A reminder of what we fight to prevent. Akira sighed, regaining his focus. Then let's ensure this isn't another futile endeavor. Sebastian tapped the document, drawing attention back to the matter at hand. We must disabuse ourselves of any illusions about the other side's intentions. Cruz nodded in agreement, her sharp intellect recognizing the deception at play. If this report is true, then trust has already been broken. Akira clenched his jaw, frustration evident. Trust is fragile, but so is power. If they believe they can manipulate us, they're mistaken. Sebastian exhaled, deep in thought. This changes everything. Cruz leaned forward. Then let's change our strategy accordingly. A tense quiet settled over the room as the weight of the situation became clear. The path forward was anything but straightforward. What's our next move? Akira finally asked. Cruz tapped the table, considering. We call their bluff, she said, her voice resolute. Sebastian hesitated, his natural diffidence showing. And if they double down? Akira smirked. Then we ensure they regret it. The room, despite its dimness, seemed to glow with determination. Hours passed as the diplomats argued, strategized, and revised their approach. Each word had to be precise, each action measured. The crisis outside loomed, a constant pressure against the walls of diplomacy. No more missteps, Cruz declared. The people deserve better than hollow promises. Akira agreed, his previous frustrations set aside in favor of purpose. Sebastian, ever the scholar, scribbled down their final strategy. Then we proceed. With that, they stood, ready to face the challenge ahead.
Like and subscribe if you would like.